Hi, Fire Charger. This is Pamela from Concerning Spiritual Gifts, and I just finished watching your video, and I was thinking that's a really good question. How do you know if you're born again? And especially because we live in the United States, where there are churches just about on every corner. I live in North Carolina, in the Bible Belt, so everybody's a Christian, but how many of those people are really born again? And I went to church as a small child, made my uh, confession, was able to make my first communion, and I thought I knew God, but I didn't know God. And how do I know I didn't know God? Because of my life. My life is like yours. Fire charge. I was out there getting high, whoring around, doing what I wanted to do, smoking reefer, and yet, if you asked me if I knew God or if I was born again, I probably would have told you yes, yes, I know God. And that's how you know that whether or not a person is born again. Just ask them, "Are you born again?" and see what answer they give you. Uh, are you born again? Yes, I am. I'm a member of the choir. Are you born again? My father was a deacon in First Baptist Church. Yes, I'm born again. Are you born again? Yes, I'm an usher in First Baptist. I'm born again. But it's not whether you're an usher. It's not whether you sing in a choir. It's not whether your father was an usher or a pastor or a deacon. You are born again because you have casted off sin and you have put on the grace of God. And I remember when I was out there in the streets, getting high and so called having fun, and I remember walking down the street and I passed the church that I used to go to when I was a small child, and I was, really really out there and really wanting I needed help. And I remember that I went into the church, and it was like Episcopal and Catholic churches, they are open all the time, and the candles were flicking, and I went into church, and I got down on my knees, and I didn't know how to pray, so I think I just said the Lord's Prayer, and I got up and I left the church. But what I was doing is I was saying, God, my life is a mess, and I need a way out, and I don't know how to reach you. The only way what I know to do is to go back to what I did when I was small. But you know what? That one act of faith began to turn my life around, and God began to send people to tell me about the Lord and to tell me about salvation. And even though I began to understand about salvation, I didn't want to give up my sin. Why do we hold on to stuff that's killing us? Why do we want to hold on to stuff that's destroying our lives and destroying people around us? Because the devil blinds us to make us think that we're having fun, but he's just taking us further and further and further down. And I remember one day my son was sick, and somebody had given me a gospel tract some months ago, and I took my son to the pastor to have him prayed for. And before praying for my son, the pastor said, Pamela, would you like to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? And I thought back, as that little girl in Episcopalian church. Yeah, I love God. In my own way, I love God. And I said yes. And that day I was introduced to Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. Now I was born again. How do I know I was born again? Because I joined the choir? No. Didn't join the choir. Because I became an usher? Nope. Didn't become an usher. Because my life began to change. It was so awesome. I remember my boyfriend that came over and he wanted to get busy. I said, no, we can't do this. This is wrong. I never felt that was wrong before. I began to feel the conviction of God that fornication is sin. That's what happens when you become born again. Jesus comes on the inside of us and he turns on the light of his power and his glory. And once when we were in darkness, we began to see the light and our lives began to change. And we are moved from darkness to light. And when people see you, you want to know if you're born again? Run into some of the people that you were hanging with a year ago, 2, 3 years ago. And when they ask you, man, dude, you're different. What's going on with you? You know, you used to always be down. You know that you tapped into something wonderful. I love the song Amazing Grace. How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. It's been 30 years since God has saved me. And since then, my mother got saved, my father got saved, my 2 sisters got saved, my brothers got saved. God is awesome. And when you are born again, God gives you the power to affect other people because of the light of God. Well, that's my 2 cents, Fire Charger. I love you, man. Keep on putting out these great videos. Bye.